Doing blogging at the moment. I know it's like shouldn't really in these times intellectually be talking about things. But people in the Western world are becoming desensitized, and they have been for a long time. And during this COVID thing, you people are realizing that people go into hospital and they lose their loved ones when they don't expect to lose them unexpectedly because of MRSA and bugs, super bugs they pick up in the governmental care system at the end of the day, and we're all desensitized to that until it happens to us. And it's very real for people. And when I go out and just talk to people, I say, "Oh, do you know anyone directly affected?" And they generally say, "Oh, a friend up north went into hospital and basically they've died." And I said, "Well, that's a common tale. Is it MRSA? Could it be anything? Could it be? I mean, what is this proof that it's corona and not anything else?" And what is when they say testing, is it, I mean, does the nurse, has anyone got one of those test kits out, and have they actually seen what it is testing for? It could be testing for CBD or anything in this day and age that there's an influx of people using to say, oh, spiking numbers of this. There's deceit, and there's always been shit for me. Well, I have a low trust tolerance and stuff to things, so I always question, and it's always the best way to be in today's modern age because it's all about money. And when you've got this gross egoic, like robotic system, tick box system and stuff, it's very easy to manipulate. And I just had that bird's eye view from the moment it started happening. Like, is it for real, or is it fitting an agenda? Anyway, just thought I'd share that because people are desensitized and they don't know about these things. And why was I talking about that? Yeah, people, why are we desensitized? It's because it's a lot of things. It's a lack of humanity in humanity. Industrial over care, colder than a witch's tit. What's that? It's like someone said it, kept saying it. I saw it on Instagram. It's like a witch's tit. Someone that don't breastfeed, well, it's a natural maternal instinct not to breastfeed your young isn't there in a lot of people these days. It's industrialised and it's like, it's shit brick, everybody just fucking laugh and let's laugh our tits off. You know, everybody with a personality disorder, everybody a bit fucking removed from faith and realness. And I don't trust for shit care workers born of an industrial age and shit like that would go out there and clap like fucking performing seals. No thanks. You're alright. Save your bollocks. Not really living in the nuclear age, the nuclear families, the desensitised human being. More games pushed down your neck and bollocks. So I think it's a creepy atmosphere out there. It's like the whole of the UK's on the verge of insanity. And you got fucking Boris Cunty Johnson and people just blah blah blaring in your face. Don't like industrial, don't like institutional, don't like any of those people. If you want a working class hero, then look no further. If you want somebody that can lead, look no further. I don't want any notoriety, don't want no fame, don't even have to fucking pay me. But if you want me to do a good job, well, listen to me. Don't have to pay me a red cent. How do you want that for non corruption? I'll lead this fucking earth out of darkness and shit that's going on at the moment. I'll free the workforces and I'll liberate it and brand it with 100% transparency so there's no crooked fucking cunts killing people within care. Do you know what I mean? Within care. I just said to my mum, we go into hospital to die these days based on my nan. She said, no, Aunt Kath didn't die because but she was a big smoker. But I said, I don't think she afforded the best care. Bupa and privatisation is the best care, but she had a big smoking habit. That was inevitable. People like my nan, she was waiting 3 days for antibiotics for just a chest infection. Given she was going downhill, losing her eyesight, she was getting depressed anyway, but we don't justify it. You don't wait 3 days for antibiotics. That's you're handing a 95-year-old a death sentence. Going to hospital, pump her full of morphine. The minute she gets there, you're handing her another death sentence because she's not going to come back from that. She's not going to have an appetite. So it's like the clinicised care is well within its capabilities of polishing off vulnerable and weak people because it's industrial farmyard care. It's not. It's like animals. No, actually, animals don't get better pet care. But I tend to err to more of the beautiful side to life, which is not within a hospital. People that you meet out there breathing tea tree, antiseptic things that smell beautiful as well as being healing, enhancing the human sensory systems. Dettol is Dettol, industrial. You know what I'm saying? And like when my dad gets a cough, I put on the frankincense and myrrh or nice things to burn. The beautiful side of nature and life is totally devoid within Dettol. So this is the message from this alternatives. And when I talk to nurses or I meet people out and about and talk to people, they go, what do they say? They're very derogatory. No, that's complementary medicine. If you're going to talk like that, it's complementary. It does it. We've got the industry. We're such bloated, egoic, gangster-like mentalities within that wage, and so it's like I personally have an aversion to going out and clapping, and I have an aversion to people around me, the Babylonian side of life. There are people that are deeply ingratiated into it and that hate me. There's never been someone more well hated, but there's no balance anymore. It's all fucking sterility and OCD natures of many a mother up and down the land are actually got people's back in it, and people are that egoically sort of we the best that they'll carry that to their grave with them. They won't really open up their mentality to more accepting ancient traditional methods of care. And like I was saying to this guy, some paupers burials and the ugly side of the way it's got is predominant in this day and age. And right at this moment, you're seeing all of it. You're seeing all of it. And I was like, well, I've come up with a social work franchise idea that would utterly liberate the workforces. With the amount of security, qualified, different jobs out there, security, undertakers, nurses, doctors, if you're qualified within a rank of a social worker link that documents it and 100% transparencies it, you can employ these workers, the best intention type people, to actually oversee these things. Government have had a monopoly on things for too long. Stealing people's dead to sell them back to the same person is the fundamental downfall of the whole of society in a way when you look at it. It's only right that the wrath of God in human form starts emerging, if you like, if you believe in collective consciousnesses. I'm watching your man Morgan Freeman talking about different variations of God in India or different places. Obviously, women still care for their dead and they treat the bodies within the home. It's very much like an Irish wake, Catholic religion. They have their dead in their home. You don't have someone come in a van, steal your dead, drain the blood out of them, and then send them back to you and charge you money, which is fundamentally depravity in its biggest form, just normalised. But it's been going on for quite some time. So I was talking to a few people out there. It's just like there is a fight on our hands, and we feel it in our sinews and our, you know, it's deep how unhappy people are, depressed they are within the confines of their nuclear families. But they're driving us to this point. So you have to be forever watchful that you're not playing into the hands of that law, because it's not law, it's lawlessness, and it's dressed up as law within the oh yeah we have to care, but they're just facilitating corporations and they're facilitating businesses and they're facilitating criminality in a way because we've lost all our rights and human rights within life and death. And I'm not being funny, but the amount of people dying from MRSA and stuff is just ridiculous, and you're paying your taxes to be at the mercy of a giant robot. And they've got one in Canary Wharf. I live in Greenwich, and they've got actually a venue called Giant Robot over there, Silver Cities Rise. But you're looking at our sons and daughters. I was just playing that now. Silver Cities Rise, the morning light, the streets that leave them. We are the dreamers, wake the nations. I'm trying to wake the nations, but all I seem to be on the receiving end of is a gross amount of hatred And there's no reason for it, because I might throw around a word just to get people's attention, to get the people in the same boat, basically. Because I'm fundamentally dealing with as an artist is a class war, people, and it's just a vibe that you pick up from town to city to field to everywhere. And so basically, I don't need people's conflicting attitudes towards me just so they can stay in a wage. Because when the shit does hit the fan, which coronavirus is the shit hitting the fan, then you're going to need to look to someone with solutions. Because life wasn't about money, it never is about money. And when it all comes down, we are basically a slave to a system and a systematic abuse, because it's about tax to them. The 99%, the 1% that are all living off us really don't actually care. They really don't care. So it's about sticking together, coming across the industrial boards, film to event staff to everything, and coming together and facilitating families in need like this, not putting them in a black bin bag and giving them a send off that is worthy of a piece of meat. Okay? We got that? Nice one. I'm gonna stop there.